Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I plan on doing my St. Patrick's Day mani. Get started here. I will show y'all what I have on, what I got going here. I have on my Appraise Gel X tips in natural round short. I used my Gel X Prep tip primer. This was to go inside the tips instead of using my drill to etch them. This chemically etches them. So I used the tip primer. And then I used my Appraise pH bonder and primer on my natural nails. Done all of my nail prep, you know, push back the cuticles, all that kind of stuff. I used a layer on my natural nails of gel base from Sparkle & Co. And then I used the Nail Couture bubblegum gel in clear to attach them. This stuff, if you watching my previous video, you'll see the video of me putting these on. I really like this stuff. It's pretty neat. It's pretty easy to work with. Best of all, I did not have any reaction to it. I guess because it's HEMA free, I guess that's what I was having a reaction to, was the HEMA. Previously, when I would do my nails, I would get severe itching. Now, it only lasted a few days, but it was severe itching around my nails. And of course, you know, I talked to several people and they said, yes, that is definitely the beginning of a gel allergy. It will only continue to get worse. You need to find out exactly what you're allergic to, yada, yada. So I thought I was hopeless, never going to be able to do my nails again or whatever. So I tried this because he really touted this stuff as vegan and hypoallergenic and all this stuff. So it really did work. I had no itching. It was great. So they're all with the bubblegum gel, and this one is in clear. That's the one I used. The only thing I have to say about it, okay, on this thumb right here, I just wanted to do it as a test and see how it worked. I did not use any gel base, and this thumb came off 3 times. Finally, I put on a layer of gel base excuse me, and attached it with the bubblegum gel, and it has not come off since then. So even if you are using the bubblegum gel, if you want them to last a little while, I guess you still need to use some kind of a base underneath it on your natural nail. And then this thumb over here is just the thumbs that gave me issue. This is how it kind of come off. Now this one did have base gel on it, so I don't know what happened. But this was after a week. It come off like this. It started peeling kind of at the cuticle, and then it just kind of peeled, the nail peeled off, and then I peeled this off of my natural nail. And it really didn't leave behind any damage or anything. So this is pretty much the bubblegum gel right here. And then, of course, the nail. So, yeah, I just peeled the nail off, then peeled the bubblegum gel off. I did try some of this stuff that I got on some site that's like Shein or one of those. And it did not dissolve in acetone. I've not tried this one yet. I'll be interested to see if it dissolves in acetone, because the other one that I got off one of those sites did not. This one right here is the one I got off one of those sites. And yeah, it did not dissolve in acetone whatsoever. But I replaced the thumb, and it's not giving me any problems, so I don't know what is the deal with that. Overall, I'm very happy with the bubblegum gel. I think if you do have a gel allergy or a HEMA allergy, that it would be a great choice for you. Although, use it with caution. because everyone has different reactions to different stuff. Okay, so after my tips, I have 2 coats of the UNT Ready for Takeoff Peelable Base Coat. And then we're going to get into the mani. So, this is what I'm wanting to do. I got these cute little nail wraps, whatever, from a site called Wrapped Round Yur Finger. I'm wanting to use these 2 right here. And then use Sparkle & Co. Happy Holidays on the other nails.
He called me, he was going to go to work the next day. And I thought that, you know, he was sounding good, and I thought that he was going to be fine.
Okay.
But a few hours later, Glenn Turner died.
Underneath these
made the statement in the autopsy that he
little decal thingies, I think I'm going to put a layer of white, which this is the Serendipity French tip, just to have some strength to my nail and all that. For liquids, I'm using Cascade Colorworks Base Coat, Activator, Top Coat.
I still had strong suspicions that there was something else involved in it, but the ME stated that's what it was, and I'm not a medical examiner, so I pretty much had to accept it.
So get all those bottles opened up.
Until 6 years later, when the Turner family learned,
And I may go ahead in with a gel top coat. I will see if I'm feeling brave enough or not.
How 2 civil servants in 2 neighboring towns, both in their early 30s, died so suddenly, until both families realized they had something
Isn't that pretty?
else in common.
This was actually from their Christmas collection, but I felt that it would match these quite well.
Lynn Turner. I couldn't get on the phone quick enough. I called the lead investigator, and I just basically said, you need to go out there and seal off the apartment, do what you need to do, because I'm telling you, there's no way to have 2 young guys like this pass away. When questioned, Lynn Turner claimed it was just a tragic coincidence. And local prosecutors found no evidence the 2 deaths were connected. After all, Lynn Turner had no criminal history.
I actually just thought that it was...
Oh, I don't know if I said or not. This is Serendipity French tip. I think I did say that, though.
And friends pointed out
Alright.
that Lynn's common-law husband, Randy Thompson, had very little life insurance. Just $35,000, hardly enough to kill for. And toxicology tests on both Randy Thompson and Glenn Turner found no evidence of drugs or alcohol in their systems. We still had strong suspicions that something she had done to him that caused his death. But at the time, I'm just a police officer, not an ME, I couldn't prove it. Then, investigators made a startling discovery. Even though Randy Thompson had only $35,000 worth of life insurance, Lynn was in a big hurry to collect it.
We were able to determine through cell phone records that on the day of Randy's funeral, between the time of the service
And I'm thinking about that one.
the service that was called to, Lynn was on her cell phone trying to contact the insurance company.
Maybe there was more to the death of these 2 men than first appeared.
It must have had something to do with some of this, because there's no way 2 young men, police officer and a firefighter, dying at a young age, without somebody doing something.
What are the chances of 2 civil servants, both in their early 30s, would die under mysterious circumstances from heart disease?
The southeast part of the country leads the nation in cardiovascular disease. And in our office, it is not uncommon that we see young men in Mr. Thompson's age who have that heart disease.
toxicology test on the first victim, policeman Glenn Turner, showed no signs of alcohol or illegal drugs in his system. But during Randy Thompson's autopsy, the medical examiner found calcium oxalate
It's very
crystals
nice.
in his
It goes on
kidneys.
just like,
These
I
could be
don't
the
know,
result
some kind
of prescription medications.
of sand. It was almost like pouring sand over your fingers. That was very nice.
The first thing I did was reach across my desk and pick up the phone and call the toxicology department and ask that an ethylene glycol test be performed.
No,
Ethylene glycol is the chemical name for
no
antifreeze.
patchy areas. Very nice. Very nice. I like that.
Results came back negative for a significant quantity of ethylene glycol.
But the
And then
medical
these two will be
examiner had a
green,
hard time
white,
believing
and green.
that.
So
Gotta
I
get
thought that was great.
Get my game plan down.
Then Dr. Kapanen learned what happened to Lynn Turner's first husband, Glenn, 6 years earlier. On a hunch, he reviewed Glenn Turner's autopsy report.
I looked at all the tissues and polarized the long little kidney, as I do in all my cases. And to my surprise, there were oxalate crystals in Glenn Turner's kidneys.
So Dr.
I
Kapanen
like
went
to get
back
as
to the
close as I
toxicology
can
lab
to the
and asked
cuticle.
them to recheck the test results on Randy Thompson's tissue
Oh,
samples.
wrong one.
And the lab discovered they'd made a mathematical error.
I immediately realized that I had made an error in calculating the original concentration of ethylene glycol in Randy Thompson's blood, and in fact, it was off by a factor of 10.
Gotta be
When we made
careful.
appropriate
I'll
correction,
get that in the white.
mathematical
Move it
error
over a
I
little
made
bit.
suddenly became a lethal level of ethylene glycol.
I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, and this is the first time that such a mistake has ever been brought to my attention.
The medical examiner now knew that Randy Thompson's death was a homicide.
Based on the corrected toxicology report, then it was quite obvious that Mr. Thompson died as a consequence of an acute ethylene glycol intoxication or poisoning.
Okay.
When I found out Randy died from
So pretty.
antifreeze poisoning, I knew when they exhumed Glenn's body, when they took those tissues, I knew they were going to find out he died.
Those are
from
pretty
exact same
green.
causes.
And that's precisely what happened. Officials exhumed Glenn Turner's body, retested his tissue samples, and confirmed there was a lethal amount of antifreeze in his system.
It's a mixed feeling because you're happy that you got something happening, but you're not happy to hear what you hear.
Investigators did some digging into Lynn Turner's background.
Well, today
uncovered
is March 12th, and we woke up to a bunch of snow in Tennessee. I know that a lot of people think that this area gets plenty of that kind of weather, but we actually do not at all. We go several years without getting any snow at all, not even a drop. It's more common for us to not have it than to have it. But we they told us it was that we were gonna have it. We were like, nah, because when they predict snow around here, we get like literally a dribble. But it was a decent little snow. I was very happy about it because we don't get stuff like that around here very often. So, and I was like, really? We had, December and January and February, nothing. And then it gets into March and we get snow. But we were happy about it. I would say we probably got between 3 and 4 inches, which, is not that much at all, really. But it looks so pretty. We took a few little pictures and stuff. But I think it was just yesterday. It was like 60 degrees outside. Last week it was like 70.
But
And then today, snow. I was like, okay then.
found out that the policy had lapsed and she would not be getting
And then today it's 28 degrees. And overnight it's supposed to be like 12 degrees. I was like, what is this weather doing? But we were happy to get our little snow. It was really pretty. The kitty cats were not very happy. They like to be able to go outside. They were not happy kitty cats at all. Not at all.
There wasn't enough evidence to convict him.
Lynn was smart. Lynn wanted to be
Especially, we have a young male cat. He's only,
She knew what they looked for, and she knew
I think 2. He's young. Now, he is fixed and everything, so he's not out looking for a girlfriend or anything. But he just likes to get out and climb the trees and, you know, do cat stuff. And he is the most outdoor loving cat I think I've ever had. He wants to be outside all the time. So it's really killing him to not be out.
we're all thinking to ourselves, well,
Can't get out and do his cat stuff.
I could name 3 or 4 guys. Of course, I
And
couldn't
you know
say
what, guys? I completely forgot to go around these, didn't I? I think they're fine.
here I am working 300
This stuff really, the liquids, those Cascade Color Works liquids are so good to work with. And
credit cards and just spend.
these dips are great. So really, there's not much to do as far as trying to, you know, like clean up your cuticles a little bit. There's really not that much to do to it.
Lynn told us she had been married, but she was
So
divorced.
that's
She told all
after
the
one
family
dip.
everything.
Of course, you know, these are the 2 that I'm going to put a decal wrap, whatever you want to call it, on. So I'm going to go in with my second dip, and I'll be right back. I won't bore you guys with the boringness of repeating this. Alright, guys. I've got my second dip on there. The next step, of course, and I have dusted them off with a soft brush, but I'm going to use a little bit of a stiffer brush after I activate them.
Drove her to another location where he raped her in a vehicle. Then he took her inside and he raped her again.
This is the one I use
At one point he had stuffed a gun in her mouth.
just to dust the little powders off, you know. It's not super soft, but it's got a little bit of stiffness to it, but it's still soft.
Garcia apparently had a problem with girlfriends. He was involved in a suspicious car accident with another girlfriend and her mother, who were both in Garcia's car when it veered into a river.
There were reports of people driving by seeing a car pull to the side of the road and then speed into the body of one suspicious. Mario Garcia was the sole survivor of the incident. His girlfriend, Lynette, lost ashore about a week later. Her mother was trapped in the car and broke.
When police questioned Garcia about Christy Wilson's disappearance, he claimed he knew nothing about it. He said they walked to the parking lot together and each went their separate ways. The security cameras couldn't confirm this since they panned across the lot and weren't fixed.
On dark and really chunky glitters or super glittery glitters, I have a hard time telling exactly how much activator I get on them, but you do want to get a pretty good amount of activator on your nails. So you want to let that set. You can still see a little bit of like wetness to it. So you want to give it till it's good and dry, and the nails will be hard. And then we'll do just a small amount of filing. They usually don't take much, not at all. But sometimes when you dip, it'll maybe distort the shape of the nail.
Which was the opposite direction being indicated that he went.
Furthermore, Garcia claimed he was home in bed all night until he left for work the next morning at 8:30. His wife refused to speak with police.
So you want to do a little bit of filing, get your shape back.
We were able to find that he had placed a phone call to his wife at 7:51 in the morning on her cell phone. It hit a cell tower that was located north of his residence.
Garcia also claimed he got to work in time for a 9 o'clock appointment, but his co-workers recalled he was late that morning, arriving closer to 10 a.m., and that his face was severely scratched.
First words that came out of his employee's mouth, some of the words were, who beat you up? I hope the other guy looks worse. It was very apparent immediately in the morning that he had injuries.
It was a significant fact that he had absolutely no injuries, observable injuries on him after the scene of that night before.
Garcia told police the scratch marks were caused by yard work.
It didn't seem plausible. I don't know too many people that would be up trick or treat between 1:30 in the morning and say 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
It's supposed to be ready.
Got that done.
Attorney Mitchell was asked to review the photographs of Garcia's
My rings are
injuries.
irritate me, so I'm gonna take them off. Sometimes they just irritate me because they when my hands are cold and stuff, they're get a little bit too big on me and they spin around.
Garcia's injuries.
Alright,
Four
I'm gonna
parallel
take
scratch
my
marks on the left side of his chest
e-file,
and face.
The left side is
go around my
so
cuticles a little bit.
because, if you have a right-handed victim, you'd be more likely that their right hand would climb across the left side in a struggle to get away.
Christy Wilson was right-handed, and the scratches had a uniform pattern, whereas an accident creates random
what?
scratches.
When you see a
I think I'm gonna use that one that was in here actually.
that, like the distinct pattern of the
Yeah.
claw marks, don't
I
make
think I will.
sense for a fall from a tree.
Mitchell was convinced that the scratch marks were caused by another person during
I'm just gonna
a
go on a
violent
7.
struggle.
Christy left a message for her loved ones.
Nothing
her
too
family,
crazy.
investigators, police, forensic examinations.
Next, forensic experts searched Garcia's home computer and found more incriminating evidence.
We learned that he had visited a website.
And from what I can tell, these do not need any buffing. They're good.
But if
They're really
Mario
good.
Garcia was responsible for Christie's disappearance, the investigators faced a serious hurdle. Without her body, they couldn't prove she was dead.
Not only did they not have a body, but confessions and witnesses indicated where murder happened, where the weapon was.
The prime suspect in Christy Wilson's
Really, I don't
disappearance
even
was Mario
think I
Garcia,
really even need to go
who was
around the
with Christy
cuticles.
in the
They
casino
look great.
earlier on the night she went missing. Investigators got a warrant to search Garcia's car, but it had already been cleaned inside and out. The floor mats and the trunk liner were gone,
So that right away was suspicious.
but cleaning, vacuuming, and even shampooing doesn't remove everything.
There was this brownish discoloration on the seat, and it looked like a dirt stain, dirty spot in the seat.
A presumptive test indicated that this was blood, but the stain repellent on the seats prevented a DNA analysis.
I could not process
These
a
liquids are
force
so good and these dips are so good that you really don't end up with much, any kind of filing or anything like that at all.
Traces of blood on the fibers of the seam between the seats, and blood spatter on the passenger's side door.
spatter was a result of some medium to high velocity that caused the spatter to have that kind of a look to it.
And they made another discovery. 2 strands of hair, one in the trunk, and the other on the passenger's side door handle. DNA extracted from the hair in Mario's car matched the DNA of the hair on Christie's hairbrush.
The probability that a random unrelated individual would have the profile found in the hairs was 1 in 720 quintillion for Caucasians.
But that wasn't all. The blood in Garcia's car was a mixture of Christie's and Garcia's. Clear evidence of physical contact between them.
His statement to investigators was he never got in his car.
Prosecutors believe this was a crime of opportunity. Garcia met Christie at the blackjack table, befriended her, and may have slipped a date rape drug into her drink. Since casino employees noticed
That is
an
perfect
abrupt
right there.
change in her behavior.
So, let's see what we need to do to work with these little majiggers. I'm wanting one of these and one of these. Aren't those so
And for the
cute?
next 3 minutes and 41 seconds,
Alright.
cameras were pointed in a different direction.
I guess let's do this one first.
That's when Garcia slammed her head into the front passenger door, creating blood spatter and lodging a hair under the door handle. He forced Christie into the back seat and drove out of the casino parking lot without arousing suspicion. Garcia drove to an area somewhere north of his home, and there was most likely another altercation. They scratched and hit each other, leaving a mixture of their blood inside the car and marks on his face and chest. Garcia apparently put Christie's body in the trunk, and she left a single strand of hair behind. Garcia signaled his general location at 7:51 in the morning when he called his wife on his cell phone, proof that he wasn't home as he had claimed. Where he left Christie's body remains a mystery.
There's so many unsettling portions of this case. That's one that is still unresolved, and second is that the family is continuing to be victimized by their inability to lay their daughter to rest, or at least lay their remains to rest.
We, the jury,
This was not quite wide enough. See that right there?
guilty of a felony as charged in count 1 of the information.
Super cute. I really like it. I don't like how the little guy is facing me. I'd rather him be facing out the other way, but that's okay. I'm gonna... Ooh, Lord. That's got some sticky to it. I'm gonna scratch that.
Forensics helped solve the
Let's see,
case.
I don't think that one's any bigger, is it?
Christie Wilson.
Because it's, you know, I just hate, because this one's for the thumb. You know, it's a big one. It's meant for the thumb.
I think I said that in my
And,
family remarks to Mario at the end of the
good
trial.
Lord.
And yes, you won, you killed her, but she left the marks that are going to put you in jail for the rest of your life and save some other one.
Actually, I think these can stretch if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I should have tried that. Because, yeah, see, this is too big. But I can always just pick it, cut it off. Okay, I think that I'm not, you know, I'm used to doing like stickers and the water decals.
It was one of the strangest cases in
So this is my
Canadian
first time
history.
really trying with
A
these
squash
little
piece of
things.
fruit and a
I
tiny
like them.
pinpoint reflection
They're
in a
slightly
picture was the
irritating,
only evidence.
but
But was it
overall I
enough
like them.
to catch a killer?
I think it said you can kind of like just kind of give them a little tug and they'll kind of pull where you want them to go. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they kind of stretch a little bit. I see. Alright, good deal. Yeah, they're stretchy little things.
1789.
Yeah, wow, they really
There was a
are.
thunderstorm in Collingwood,
They
Ontario.
stretch great.
But the
Wow.
rain didn't
I'm
stop
impressed.
33-year-old Debbie
And it
Tinlock
doesn't really
from
like
venturing
distort
out
the
that
picture
night.
or
She
anything.
was a pretty
That's
vivacious
neat.
woman that loved to ski and ride a sailboat. However, she liked to sail.
Okay.
Um,
So as far as what's left over,
Debbie, a single mother, left her 6-year-old daughter Lacey
just clip
at her
it
parents' home
with your
for the night.
nail clippers or
Two of her friends
whatever.
went to a local restaurant where they visited with each other, and it was later in the evening when Debbie and her friends said goodbye to each other in the parking lot.
Her friend said Debbie left alone and presumably went straight home.
Just clip the excess off.
At 3:25 in the morning, however, she phoned police to report she had been attacked.
And then you take your file and kind of smooth down anything that's left over.
Little understanding of what had occurred. She was
And it'll
starting to
come
stay
off.
conscious.
You just pick it off.
But by the time police arrived, it was too late.
When I entered through the door of the apartment, I could see that there was an unclothed female body laying on her back next to the couch.
Beside her left arm, which was outstretched, was the handset of a telephone. There was a great deal of blood on the floor.
it was like something like this couldn't happen.
Okay.
It's a small town. And why? No.
Investigators followed the trail of blood through the hallway and found a pair of metal frame eyeglasses and a woman's shoe, both covered in blood.
Upon entering Debbie Tinlock's bedroom, we noticed
Okay. Pretty doggone neat right there. I like that a lot.
different articles of clothing and sheets, as well as a comforter that were either on the bed or on the floor. There was also blood stains and some blood spatter on a headboard of the bed.
Investigators also found evidence of activity in the kitchen.
Kitchen was disheveled. It appeared the entry was through the kitchen window, which was a ground level apartment. There had been some disturbing of dishes and that type
And then
of
for the
activity.
thumb, I want to do one of these
Outside the kitchen
checky
windows,
looking
an area
things.
partially hidden behind some greenery. On the ground, investigators noticed a tomato.
Debbie Tinlock had a tomato on her windowsill ripening, and the tomato had likely been dragged out onto the ground when the suspect had pulled the blinds out of the window.
When we noticed the tomato, it was quite obvious that there was a partial footwear impression on the tomato itself.
They photographed the tomato, then put
You're
it
gonna
in
have to
Debbie's
pull it
refrigerator to
some,
preserve
because
it.
again, it's
Police found no foreign
slightly
fingerprints
too
in the
small, and
apartment,
I'm
and there were no valuables
kind of
missing.
confused about why these would be too
Investigators had to
small
ask,
for me, because
who would
I
have wanted
don't have
Debbie
big
dead?
fingers.
That question produced a few troubling answers. At Debbie Tinlock's autopsy, the medical examiner found she had been sexually assaulted and stabbed to death.
She died of a stab wound to the heart. He also found that there was a stab wound to the back which penetrated her spinal cord.
The pathologist concluded that Debbie was paralyzed from the waist down when she crawled to the telephone to call police.
I believe when Debbie is told by the ambulance, help is on the way, she responds, thank you, and I believe at that point she died.
Okay.
In a search for Debbie's killer, investigators found a possible lead. 4 years earlier, Debbie lived with a man named Ron Osborne, who had been involved in a drug smuggling ring.
In 1985, 10 persons were investigated for attempting to smuggle drugs from the United States into Canada.
Authorities had evidence that Osborne transported illegal drugs in a boat from Jamaica to Florida. At Osborne's trial, Debbie reluctantly testified against him.
Debbie testified that Ron Osborne had told her that he had been on a boat for a 2-month period. This boat is the one that was subsequently found to have storage compartments where the drugs had been stored.
Osborne was in prison at the time of Debbie's murder, but investigators checked to see whether any of the other defendants might have killed her.
Transcripts of the drug smuggling case were reviewed along with interviews of the investigating officers to determine where all the players actually were and how the entire investigation unfolded.
Detectives concluded there was no connection to Debbie's murder.
To us, it made no sense that a small
This isn't quite as like bright green as I wanted it to be.
very little to do with it.
As a matter of routine,
And I put the white
police
underneath
also
it.
interviewed Debbie's
Maybe I should have
ex-husband.
put green
The
underneath
couple had
it
been
and
divorced
just white
for 4
underneath that
years
one.
and shared custody
I
of
think what I'm gonna
6-year-old
do
Gracie.
is actually double them.
Die, and it just happens that they don't, some people just don't get along together.
It was a amiable divorce.
If that
Both
works.
parties had got on with their lives and gone in
I'm gonna go
different
ahead and
directions.
kind of pull this way just a little bit. I don't want too much. It doesn't require too
So
much.
investigators focused on the evidence left at the scene.
I'm gonna see what doubling it looks like.
And
If
the
it's not
tomato
good, then I
with the
just
foot
won't do
impression.
that.
We knew right away that we had a pattern in the tomato, and we knew right away that it was a herringbone pattern.
When the film was developed and analyzed, the flesh in the photo created distinct shadows.
We could see that along with the herringbone
Let me
pattern
see.
was a second pattern, or more detail than we had first been able to see, which was an S shape that came through.
I guess
the
it helps a
herringbone
little
pattern.
bit, doesn't it?
Next,
Okay,
investigators
guess we'll keep
analyzed
it.
the eyeglasses. They found
You want to get
Debbie's
really
blood
good
on
all around the
glasses,
corners,
which told the
edges.
story.
Definitely around the edges, corners, all that. You could use a silicone tool, scraper card, whatever you got, or just use your other nail like I'm doing. And you want to pull them tight because you don't want to have any loose
The pair was
part
inexpensive, and the
on it.
lenses didn't fit
So when you pull
properly
it to
in
the
frame.
end of your nail, make sure you pull it
lens
tight.
itself didn't exactly match the contour of the metal piece at the top. So creating
And
that
these can
sort
go
of
on
gap
natural
in the
nails.
appearance
They
of
could
the
go
lenses.
on any kind of, enhancements. If you do the, if you put, tips on like I done, you could have put these directly on the tips. You don't have to put any dip on or anything like that. These could have went just directly on the tip. They can go directly on your natural nail. Builder gel, whatever you got going on, these can just stick right to it. They're very sticky. They have great adhesion. I'll let you guys know how long they last, but as far as like right now, yeah, they got some great adhesion to them.
And actually been to Japan where he hoped to further that and maybe have a shot at an Olympic spot on the team.
Debbie told friends that Brown had made advances towards her.
He did have a criminal record. He had been
But yeah, silicone tool or scraper card or your fingernail or just something to kind of smooth out all the
Brown came on the radar screen,
edges and wrinkles or anything that might get in it like that.
but never more than 3
Okay.
months.
When questioned, Brown denied
But like I said, you could put those directly on these tips. You do not have to use a layer of dip. I just used a layer of dip because I was wanting to put this green on right here. I like this green. I was wanting to use it. That's the only reason I done it. These could have went directly on if you wanted them to. Okay, so I'm done with that. I think since I'm using these, I'm going to use a gel top coat instead of my little dip top coat. So for the gel top coat, I'm going to use my Sparkling Co. gel top.
extremely wide fists. And detectives noticed something else. In his mugshots from a previous arrest, Brown was wearing glasses. The prime suspect in Debbie Timlock's murder was her former next-door neighbor, a convicted criminal, Jim Brown.
I'm being super careful to not get any on my skin because I don't want any kind of gel reaction.
This gave detectives an opportunity to tie Brown to the glasses found at the murder site.
And I just now remembered you're supposed to put a base coat on top.
And had an officer pose as a nurse and offer them to Brown.
Gel top will not stick to, I'm just going to wipe that off. Just wipe it right off. Gel top will not stick without gel base. Gel base acts as like two-sided tape, and it holds the top coat onto whatever you got underneath, you know, the dip or whatever's underneath there. So you want to do a layer of gel base, especially like, you know, gel top's not going to stick to anything like that. It's just too slick and slidey aroundy. Is that a good term? Slidey aroundy. So back to the lovely weather that we're having. We don't get this very often, even though a lot of people would think that we do. I heard that Knoxville got it pretty bad. There were some streets shut down around there. But I wish we could get this on Christmas one year. That would be so beautiful. Like a little Christmas miracle. But I'm looking forward to summer. I'm so ready to do some bright neon type manis. I really want to use some hot pinks. The more cheerful colors. I'm over winter. I'm over the cold. I'm over the drabness of it. And I'm just so ready for summer. I want to go camping and swimming and all the fun stuff.
350-pound model stepped on each one, wearing the suspect's shoes. Webb discovered that the test impression on the tomato was virtually
so there
the same
is
as the one
my
taken directly from
gel
the
base.
shoe and the photo taken
Got
at the
just a
crime
teensy
scene.
bit on my skin. Get that off of there. I'm going to cure these for 60 seconds. Okay, so now I got my gel base on. I'm going to go in with my gel top against the sparkling coat. So is the base.
He weren't a frontal mugshot. He was angled relative to the plane of the film.
To solve the
I'm
problem,
being so
Dr. Strong
careful.
mounted the glasses on a styrofoam head and tried to approximate the angle in the mug shots.
We didn't get it quite right. It was compelling, but it didn't rise to a level that was significant in our mind.
Then, Dr. Strong enlarged the mug shot photographs and noticed something important. Tiny white dots, reflections from the photographer's flash in Brown's corneas.
You actually use the reflection from the front surface of the eye to make a very standard measurement when you make a pair of glasses, namely the distance between the two.
I always do my thumb last because the way your thumb lays, your top coat will kind of start sliding off of it. If it's sideways, you know, because it's a self-leveling, so it'll kind of start sliding off. So I always do it last. That way I can go straight into the lamp with it.
Size of the frames and the lenses for comparison to the glasses from the crime scene.
We're getting 20
Alright, so I'm going to cure these for 60 seconds. Alright, so last thing here, I'm going to go in with my Red Iguana Luxury 24K Cuticle Oil. Love this stuff.
Identified the ATM that rejected Diane's card. It was inside a Shell gas station just a mile from Diane's home. Fortunately, there were high-quality security cameras.
We were able to actually see an individual walk up to the ATM, attempt to use the ATM card, and then leave the store with the free declined.
You always want to rehydrate. You have done a lot of stuff to your poor little fingernails. You want to rehydrate. Alright guys, there it is, my little leprechaun feller. And That beautiful shimmery green. I love it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.